Election 2024 live updates. Trump addresses supporters after swing state wins move him closer to a White House victory. Former President Donald Trump claims victory in speech to supporters in Florida. NBC News projects he's won 266 of the 270 Electoral College votes needed to defeat Harris. Former President Donald Trump spoke to supporters after securing his third battleground victory of the evening by clinching Pennsylvania, bringing him closer to a White House win. Other swing states, including Michigan, Nevada, and Wisconsin, are too close to call. Vice President Kamala Harris takes California, New York, and other traditionally Democratic states, but any path to victory narrows now that Trump has broken through Democrats' blue wall. Republicans will control the Senate after flipping some Democratic-held seats. The House is still up for grabs. Separately, Democrat Angela Alsobrooks became the first black woman elected to represent Maryland in the Senate, while Democrat Lisa Blunt Rochester will be Delaware's first black female senator. Several governors' races are also being decided, in addition to a number of crucial ballot measures on issues like abortion and marijuana. Voters in South Dakota have defeated a state constitutional amendment that would protect a woman's right to abortion rather than keep the state's near-total ban on the procedure. At the election warehouse in Philadelphia County, workers have begun to stack together the paper ballots from the in-person voting across all the polling locations from yesterday. The ballots, which were already counted electronically, are kept in paper form as backup. The mood was glum as Harris supporters left her event at her alma mater Howard University, where she did not appear as election results showed Trump closing in on the White House. "I'm just devastated," said Dr. Elizabeth Risner, citing Trump's skepticism of climate change as the reason for her disappointment. "The consequences of a second Trump presidency are unfathomable and terrifying, and I think will be horrible for us as a country, for our planet and for the world," she said. Risner and others said they were still holding out hope for a Harris win. "The blue wall has not been called just yet, and I think metropolitan cities obviously will take much longer than rural areas to return the numbers," said Devonte Hill. NBC News' Kristen Welker highlights Donald Trump's unprecedented resilience as a political figure, recalling his 2015 comments about John McCain, which was thought to be career-ending. Despite surviving 2 assassination attempts, Trump remains a leading contender and is on track to potentially become the oldest president in office. Arizona voters defeated a measure that would have lowered the minimum wage for tipped workers. Voters in South Dakota have defeated a measure to legalize marijuana. A torrent of congratulatory posts and statements may be pouring in from around the world, but reaction among regimes with less friendly stances on America's leadership has been more circumspect. "The U.S. elections do not concern us and will not affect Iranians' livelihoods," an Iranian government spokesperson told the Qatar-based Al Arabi television network. Elsewhere in the Middle East, a senior Hamas official told Reuters that the Democratic loss was the natural price for its leadership's criminal stance on Gaza. The official added that Hamas was hoping Trump would learn from Biden's mistakes and that his victory would put to the test his statements that he can stop the war within hours. NBC News has yet to project the winner of the presidential race. NBC News' Tom Lamas breaks down the latest numbers in the race to the White House and found that Trump overperformed in rural areas while Harris underperformed in urban areas and counties. Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat California, offered optimism for his party while acknowledging he was disappointed in the projected election results. "I'm confident, but we still have to see where the House is going to go," he said on MSNBC. "But I'm confident we're going to rebuild in 2026 and we'll win back the White House in 2028. And we've got to listen." Khanna suggested Democrats go on more podcasts, alluding to the Joe Rogan Experience as an example. Trump went on Rogan's wildly popular podcast, while Harris's campaign declined to do an interview. There was palpable enthusiasm about a potential Trump victory in Saudi Arabia and other Gulf Arab nations. NBC News has not yet projected the outcome of the race. "Stunning," said a Saudi diplomat who was not authorized to speak publicly. Another was fascinated watching the results. Another Gulf diplomat said simply, "Wow." Some said they woke up to the news of Trump's closing in on the White House, content to go to bed last night and wait for America to make its decision. But many Middle Eastern allies and partners were already calculating what a second Trump presidency could mean for their governments. A Turkish diplomat who was not authorized to speak publicly sent NBC News a meme showing Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan winning the U.S. election. Erdogan congratulated Trump in a statement, saying he won the U.S. election after a great struggle. A Syrian diplomatic advisor who was also not authorized to speak publicly said, "I have been watching it for hours. A new world in the morning." Obama campaign manager Jim Messina said tonight that the Democratic Party has a communication problem with various groups of voters. Going forward, the Democrats have a real rural problem, and they have real communication challenges to a whole bunch of groups, including young voters and Latinos, that we thought we had a better message to and just didn't at all, Messina, who managed Barack Obama's 2012 campaign, said on MSNBC. He added that those groups no longer feel seen by the Democratic Party, and that there should be an analysis of what steps need to be taken. The trickle of world leaders congratulating Trump on his alleged victory in the presidential election is becoming a flood. Describing Trump as, "my friend," Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister and the leader of the world's largest democracy, posted several photos of him and Trump with a message conveying his heartiest congratulations. NBC News has not projected the outcome of the presidential race. French President Emmanuel Macron of France also posted on X, where he described his readiness to work together as we have done for 4 years. Republican Austin Knudsen wins re-election in the Montana Attorney General's race, NBC News projects. Republican Greg Gianforte wins re-election in the Montana governor's race, NBC News projects. Mike Davis, a former clerk to conservative Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch and a Senate aide who is expected to be a key Trump legal advisor, said on X that special counsel Jack Smith should lawyer up. Trump has said he would fire Smith on the first day of his presidency. Justice Department officials have said Smith will continue prosecuting the 2 federal criminal cases against Trump until directed to do otherwise. Davis told NBC News that he had been bullish on Trump's prospects since the Mar-a-Lago raid, arguing that Democratic lawfare against Trump would backfire. He said that the lawfare propelled Trump to victory during the primary season and helped garner intense loyalty from supporters. Davis, who was in a Trump campaign war room today, said that the Republican lawyers seemed cautiously optimistic, while he expected Trump to win the popular vote and the swing states. Earlier today, Davis said that Trump came with Melania Trump to thank his campaign staff for their work. A Trump victory could have seismic implications for the war in Ukraine, where he has suggested he could withdraw U.S. support that is vital to its defense against Russia's invasion. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated Trump on his impressive election victory. NBC News has yet to project the outcome of the race. "I appreciate President Trump's commitment to the peace through strength approach in global affairs," he said on X. "This is exactly the principle that can practically bring just peace in Ukraine closer. I am hopeful that we will put it into action together." As Trump delivered a speech declaring victory, Harris aides had already begun pivoting from hoping for a Harris win to how best to deal with Trump policies during a second term. While Trump's policies will have tremendous domestic and international ramifications, I'll try to remind myself and others of a larger picture around values that I hold, and share with a broader group of people, a Harris aide said as Trump was still speaking. Those values, around an inclusive American society where non-dominant groups are welcome, is one that I will continue to stand for. And while I will stand for those values, I will try hard to practice kindness and embody these values on a micro level with strangers tomorrow and to embody love towards the half of all voters who feel drawn to Trump. That will be the hardest part, to practice love towards someone who is drawn to such hateful rhetoric and tribal tendencies, the aide said. NBC News has yet to project the winner of the presidential race. Harris has not conceded but is expected to speak later today. At least 2 2020 election deniers, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, and Republican Senate candidate Kari Lake of Arizona, declared that Trump had won a third victory. "Donald Trump has just been elected president for a third time," Greene wrote on X. Lake offered similar language on X, breaking, "Donald Trump just won his third election. Congratulations, Mr. President," she wrote. NBC News has not projected the outcome of the presidential race. Harris has won one of the 5 electoral college votes in Nebraska, NBC News projects. Because she picked up the one vote there. A tie in the electoral college is not possible. Trump concluded his remarks by praising the coalition his campaign built. "We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense," Trump said. Trump called the election a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. A Trump win would be warmly welcomed among many Israelis given his support for Israel and close relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has already congratulated Trump on his huge victory. NBC News has yet to project the outcome of the race. "Congratulations on history's greatest comeback," Netanyahu said in a post on X, "Your historic return to the White House offers a new beginning for America and a powerful recommitment to the great alliance between Israel and America. This is a huge victory." Other far-right Israeli lawmakers also celebrated Trump's early success, with National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir expressing his enthusiasm with a series of emojis posted on X alongside the message, "Yes. God bless Israel, God bless America," Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich said in a separate post on X. UFC CEO Dana White took to the podium this morning to tell supporters that Trump deserves a victory as karma for the past several years. "This is what happens when the machine comes after you," White said at the Palm Beach County Convention Center, where Trump addressed his supporters. "He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hard-working man I've ever met in my life." Trump stopped to add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to the list of supporters he thanked, saying Kennedy, a former Democratic presidential candidate, is going to help make America healthy again. After thanking Kennedy, Trump quipped that he should leave the oil to me, referring to Kennedy's longtime career as an environmental lawyer who opposed big oil. "Now he's a great guy, and he really means that he wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, leave the oil to me," Trump told his supporters. Harris is projected to win New Jersey's presidential contest, besting Trump and securing the state's 14 electoral votes. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has congratulated Trump, describing the election results as the biggest political comeback in U.S. political history. "Congratulations to President Donald Trump on his enormous win," Orbán said in a post on X, "a much-needed victory for the world." NBC News has not yet projected a winner in the race. The Hungarian government has strengthened its links with Trump and the Republican Party in recent years. Trump hosted Orbán at Mar-a-Lago in March. On stage in West Palm Beach, Trump called U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau to the stage. The golf star came on stage wearing a black "Make America Great Again" hat and did not speak. DeChambeau and Trump played a round of golf together in July. Harris is projected to win Minnesota's presidential contest, besting Trump and securing the state's 10 electoral votes. The state's governor, Tim Walz, was Harris's running mate. As he thanked members of his family and his campaign team, the crowd asked Trump about tech mogul Elon Musk, who boosted Trump in recent weeks. "We have a new star, a star is born, Elon," Trump told his supporters, adding, "He's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia, in different parts of Pennsylvania, campaigning." Then, Trump told a story about a recent SpaceX rocket launch that ended in a dramatic feat. The rocket launch booster landed in the arms of the SpaceX launch tower minutes after it launched. Trump also praised Musk's Starlink technology, saying Musk helped bring the internet to those affected by recent hurricanes in North Carolina. "He had it there so fast it was incredible," Trump said. Trump, claiming victory, said America gave him an unprecedented mandate. NBC News has not projected the race. "America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate." "Wow, that's great," he said. NBC News has projected that Republicans have won control of the Senate. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican South Carolina, congratulated Trump tonight on X on what he characterized as Trump's electoral victory. Graham wrote that he spoke to Trump earlier this evening, adding that he was in awe of him and his team. Graham also shared a photograph of himself smiling with a phone held up to his ear and bottles of wine in the background. Republican Michael Lawler wins re-election to the House in New York's 17th Congressional District, NBC News projects. Vance addressed supporters, thanking Trump for the trust he placed in him and calling the election results the greatest political comeback in the history of the U.S. After the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going.